Alright guys, I'm just gonna do this real quick, man. I want to make a video and just kind of go over UFC 249, my predictions, what I feel like is gonna happen. So, I went to research some stuff, you know, so that way I don't sound stupid, and I get all bummed out because apparently 1 hour ago, Jacare Souza tested positive for the COVID-19 virus, which means he's out, and now Uriah Hall is left without a dance partner. Obviously, this sucks. He was asymptomatic, so they wouldn't have known without the tests. But I'm doing this at night, and my biggest fear is that something is going to happen between the time that I make this video and the time that UFC 249 is supposed to go off, and it could get canceled. Now, they've already said that it's going to go on, that it was isolated to Souza, and that, it's not a big deal. But now there's video of showing of him with other fighters, and it's just like, oh god, are they gonna have to retest everybody? Who knows? This could end up being really bad, and if this event goes bad, they couldn't possibly not suspend the event again for a long time. Just would be terrible. I do not want that. I'm so hyped for these fights tomorrow. I've been waiting so long, and I just feel like this is the worst thing that could have possibly happened. But let's go ahead and let's look at these fights. We've got Ryan Spawn and Sam Alvey. I'll be honest, don't know either of them. It looks like Ryan Spawn is a huge favorite in this, though. Bryce Mitchell and Charles Rosa, again, don't know these two. Unfortunately, Bryce Mitchell's the favorite, a small favorite at 165. Now we can get to some fights that I can talk about. There's only two on here that I don't know. Carla Esparza versus Michelle Waterson, the karate hottie. This is an interesting fight. Because Esparza has been in, big fights. Michelle Waterson has really, she hasn't had, the big title fight type of fight. And sometimes that can be the difference, is one of them just has that extra experience, although it's only going to be 3 rounds. It's on the undercard. I don't know why. When I started talking, I was going to say that Carla Esparza was going to win, but I actually am going to flip to Michelle Waterson. I just feel like the way that her camp runs and everything, I think she has the advantage with everything that's going on. Next fight is the canceled one of Jacare and Uriah Hall. So we'll just have to skip over that real quick. Now, Fabricio Verdum. Verdum is coming back, boys. Oh, man. I'm so excited for this. Alexei Olenek, solid fighter, but even with all the time off, I just fully expect Fabricio to come out and show why he was a dominant champion for a bit, a dominant fighter. We have Vicente Luque versus Nico Price. One thing to go back to that Verdum is he's actually a minus 330 favorite, so clearly Vegas feels the same way that I do. This Vicente Luque and Nico Price. Luque is a big favorite, minus 280. These are two guys I've seen. Don't know a whole lot about them, but I, I'm just gonna go with the underdog. I like Nico Price. Don't really know that much about Vicente Luque. So, all right, now we get to the part that's gonna make me a little sad. Is like very excited for the fight, but very scared, and a fight that can make me very sad is Anthony Pettis and Donald Cerrone. Pettis is already the favorite coming in. He dominated in their first fight. Cerrone's coming off multiple losses to Connor, Ferguson. Uh, I mean, granted, these are killers he's fighting, but these are all this is all damage that's adding up. Anthony Pettis hasn't looked great either. I really feel like, and I hate to say it, I feel like both of their times are over. Like, it's pretty clear. I don't see Cerrone or Pettis coming anywhere near a title fight unless they go on a miraculous run. But I I hate to say it, I really feel like this could be a fight for who gets knocked out. Cerrone, like I said, I think he would be going on a four, at least a 4 fight losing streak if he loses this. Anthony Pettis had some success, but I mean, he's kind of just flying high off of his knockout over Wonderboy and like a good 2 round performance against Tony Ferguson. But other than that, I mean, his last fight he looked absolutely terrible. He didn't look good in that weight class. He looked very pudgy. When you saw him before, he looked very lean and athletic. He just doesn't look like the same fighter. He might carry more power, but it's not what made him successful at the beginning. And then Cowboy keeps saying he goes that with his mentalist, he gets a sports psychiatrist. I'm gonna be able to do it. He couldn't do it. When as soon as I saw my son be born, I knew that I could do it. He still couldn't do it. He admitted that he wasn't there for the Conor McGregor fight. I actually think that he's gonna show up for this fight because of how terrible he was, and because he was able to admit how bad he was in the Conor McGregor fight. I think he's gonna try and show that he has legs to stand on. So I'm actually gonna go with Donald Cerrone in this one. I feel like he makes a better 170 than Anthony Pettis. He just wears it better. He might be smaller, but I'd rather be smaller than a pudgy like Pettis. All right, Greg Hardy and Yorgan De Castro. All right, not sure if that's how you pronounce his name. Sorry if I messed it up, but I think this is pretty simple fight. If Greg Hardy can keep it standing, he wins. He can, or I shouldn't say that. If Greg Hardy can keep it standing, land shots, and not do anything completely idiotic this fight, like an illegal knee or take a puff of his asthma medicine. Like, come on, man. Why are you pulling out an inhaler in a fight? That's ridiculous. I mean, come on. But Greg Hardy's a ridiculous prospect. I hate to say it. I'm not a fan of him as a person at all. But I have to respect his athleticism and the fact that every time we see him in the octagon, he looks leaps and bounds better than before. He really is adapting to the game very fast, and I don't know if he'll be able to go against warriors like Ngannou, but if he wins this fight, Derek Lewis has been calling him out for a while. I'd love to see Derek Lewis get his hands on him. But I got Hardy there. Uh, Calvin Kattar and Jeremy Stephens. So Jeremy Stephens, if we look at his last couple of fights, he is not looking good. And, like, his record is not great. But he is just an extremely entertaining fighter. And I feel like the UFC is kind of using him to set up Calvin Kattar. He's kind of like an under the radar guy right now. And Jeremy Stephens, although not a big name, I should say he has a bigger name than he is a fighter. He's a very entertaining fighter, which is why he doesn't have a great record. But because of that, he gets big fights. So I feel like he's being served up. I mean, if we just look at his last 4 fights, all right, let's just go 3. He lost to Yair Rodriguez, Zabit, and Jose Aldo. But even coming off his last couple wins, the only real one that I see is Gilbert Melendez, and that was like 3 years ago. So I don't know, I just feel like Calvin Kattar, he's the guy. Although this could be a case of like a Roxanne Modafferi when she fought. God, her name just completely blanked on it. Or when Mike Brown fought Stephen Thompson, where that veteran goes in. But I just don't feel like Calvin Kattar is just that raw, and I feel like he has all the tools to take him out. All right, these 3 main fights make me very excited, and so we know that the 3 main fights are Ngannou and Rosenstruck, Cejudo and Cruz, and Ferguson and Gaethje. Before I go in and examine each of them, I want to say who my favorite is. Because on the last card that they had, not the fight night, but actual event, when they had Stylebender and Romero, garbage fight, I called saying that Weili Zhang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk was going to be the fight. I was like, oh man, I'm so excited for this. I didn't end up posting it, but I was so hyped for that fight. And the fight that I'm the most hyped for, not Ferguson and Gaethje, I think that's going to be mayhem. I think it's going to be 2.5 rounds, spoiler. But Cejudo and Dominic Cruz is going to steal the night. I really feel it. Ngannou and Rosenstruck is the casual fans' fight. Ferguson and Gaethje are both I wouldn't even just say casual fans, I'd just say entertaining. But in terms of just importance, this is a huge fight between Cejudo and Cruz, because Cruz has proven that he can come back from being off this amount of time and succeed. And this time, he's not having to recover from multiple injuries. But let me roll it back. Let's go back to Francis Ngannou and Rosenstruck. I feel like this is open and closed case. Yes, Rosenstruck has power. Yes, he knocked out Alistair Overeem. Yes, it was the nastiest cut I've ever seen in a fight. But he was dominated for 4 rounds, or let's just say what, 29 minutes, not 29 minutes, 24 minutes of the fight. And I was supposed to come off thinking that he's an elite fighter. I feel if Francis Ngannou gets into any trouble on the feet, which could happen because Rosenstruck has big power, not Ngannou power, but, you know, say he gets hit with one of those and feels like striking right now is 50-50, he could take him down, finish him there, and it's a wrap. Like, the way Overeem was able to just at will take him down did not bode well. And although I don't think that that's going to happen, because I do feel Ngannou still has the advantage on the feet and on the ground, if it comes down to it, and Ngannou has to play safe, if he wants to play safe to get, because he knows that the winner of this fight gets the winner of Stipe and DC. You know, this is a common thing that happens in title fights and number one contenders fights, is they fight much more relaxed and everything. But one thing I will say is that the biggest advantage of the coronavirus affecting these fights goes to Rosenstruck, because instead of having to go 5 rounds with Ngannou, he only has to go 3, because Rosenstruck just looked bad, man. Like, he looked really bad against Alistair Overeem, other than those 2 punches that he hit him with. But I feel like Overeem will have, or not Overeem, Ngannou will have conditioned himself to go the 5 rounds, so he'll be ready. But Rosenstruck can do the 3 rounds much better. Although I don't think it's going to make a difference. I feel like he's going to be stopped by Ngannou midway through the first. Honestly, Ngannou's the man, guys. I want him and Stipe too, because I feel like if he fights DC takes him down and doesn't even want to let him throw those bombs. So next fight, Cejudo and Cruz. Like I said, this is gonna steal the show. It, like, with Dominic Cruz's footwork, Cejudo's really gonna struggle. And not only that, like, Cruz is a strong wrestler because of his footwork and his anti takedowns, you know. And I just feel like he's so much longer. He's got such a big reach advantage. I feel like it's gonna be one of those. Cejudo's gonna have to eat 2 to land 1, and although he might have more power, you know, with how fast Dominic Cruz is and how good his footwork is, Cejudo might lunge in, miss completely, and instead of eating just 2, might eat 3. Cruz has that he's that fast, you know. He uses that good of footwork where he can just boom, 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 hit you from different angles, and it's ridiculous. But it's very hard to go against how good Henry Cejudo is right now. You know, he's really trying to make that case for the greatest combat athlete of all time, with 2 belts and a gold medal. Cruz could stop that. I think this is going to be a really close fight. Really, really close fight. I think Cejudo might end up winning the fight because the judges tend to lean with the champion, but I think it's going to go all 5 rounds. a 49-48 split decision to Cejudo. But I think Dominic Cruz is gonna should have win. I think I'm calling the controversy too. All right, and now Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje, pure mayhem, pure mayhem. That's what we have. Justin Gaethje's gonna come out like a madman. Tony Ferguson's gonna trade with him. Gaethje's gonna land some big shots. Ferguson's gonna fall. He's gonna tumble. Gaethje's gonna come in, swing heavy, try and get in close. Tony's gonna clinch against the cage, flip him around. He's gonna use his elbows and that quick hand and work him. I feel like for Gaethje to win, he has to finish Ferguson, and he not only has to finish him, he has to finish him within the first 3 rounds, because no one has a gas tank like Tony. So in those championship rounds, he's gonna come through. But at the same time, Tony has a tendency to get hit. Gaethje too. They both are gonna trade. I feel like I said, it's gonna be pure mayhem. But in the end, it's going to be a more technical approach from Tony Ferguson against a more wild approach from Gaethje, knowing that his best chance is to make something big happen. And I feel like if Tony Ferguson just fights the way he has, it sets us up for Ferguson and Khabib again. I do see a world in which Gaethje wins. I personally don't feel like he should have the interim belt if he wins. I'm pulling up his record right now, and his last 3 wins are against Cerrone, Barboza, and Vick. James Vick isn't even really fighting anymore. Edson Barboza is a gatekeeper, and so is Donald Cerrone. I feel like he hasn't beat anyone to deserve a title shot. He needed that one more guy, and I don't know. Not a big fan of that. If he wins, I mean, all power to him. That would definitely be, in my opinion, not as big of a upset as Matt Serra. I think it would be a very big upset in terms of people who have held the belt. But like I said, Tony can get hit. For Pettis dropped him, broke his hand in the process, but Gaethje has more power in those hands, and he hits him with a clean shot when Tony tries to do his crazy shit. We could possibly lose the matchup that everybody has waited years for because of this goddamn virus. Now, we're going to have to break down a bunch more fights, because I think there's supposed to be a show on Wednesday and a show next Saturday as well. This is an absolutely stacked card. It starts at 3 p.m. over here, and just the undercard is 4 hours, and just the undercard is legit. Oh man, it sucks losing Souza and Uriah Hall, but you still finish it with Pettis and Cerrone, Luque and Price. You get Werdum and Olenek. and Esparza and Watterson. Like, man, those are big fights. So, well, all right, man. This is gonna be fun to look back on after the fights. I'm sure I'm gonna get so many of these completely wrong. The fight game is so crazy. Anything can happen. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a good one. Catch you in the next video. Peace.